Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of TheSandbox sessions. These are coaching sessions that I do, and hopefully we'll be getting some coaching sessions from the other coaches as well to let you all know basically what a coaching session in the sandbox is like. This was particularly a Hotkey coaching session, so we're going to take an hour and answer some questions from our sandboxer, Torkk. Torkk, how are you doing?
Hello, I am good.
Awesome, cool. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about your hotkeys and what it is. First of all, you're on the core 2.0, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Just as a disclaimer to all you YouTubians out there listening, the core is separate from the sandbox. Not everyone in the sandbox uses the core. A lot of people do because it's a good investment in loss, but it's not like a requirement or anything like that. And improving your hotkeys doesn't also doesn't necessitate switching to the core. You can improve your hotkeys by one key at a time, or you can do it all at once. It's totally up to you. It's totally within your control. That being said, Torkk, we're gonna make some improvements to your hotkeys today. What are you looking to do? What are you struggling with right now?
Well, the simplest thing I want to fix is getting my siege tank a hotkey, because at some point I unhotkeyed that without realizing it. The second thing I want to do is figure out what my control groups really should be, considering Legacy of the Void makes me apparently have to use a lot more than I did in Heart of the Swarm, and now some things are just getting weird, and it's hard to transition.
Cool, man. All right, I'm actually going to have to load a game real quick because I don't have Legacy of the Void hotkeys up. If you have not loaded a game yourself, you probably have the Warhound in your factory right now.
Oh, do I? Because that would be horrific. I do not. I have played a game today, right? I played it.
Very good. Very good. Your siege tank looks fine to me. I've loaded up your hotkeys. Do you mean producing a siege tank?
Yes, producing one. All
right, cool. So here's the process that we go about doing that. We've got all of these hotkeys here that we can see. It's difficult to know what exactly, is the next available thing. We have Widowmine. All right, Cyclone is on N.
Yes.
And that's the only new thing here. So let's switch over to the spreadsheet and take a look at the factory. So let's go ahead and make that H. Great.
Yep. I'm going to quickly just do my caustic spray corrosive bile. I think I could just make all those O, right? I don't think I like O.
Corrosive bile is useful as rapid fire. It's not something you want to do every single time, but it is useful there. So
should I do like two hotkeys?
Yeah, do O and 9 for corrosive bile.
Add hotkey O, add alternate 9. Done. And then caustic spray. I don't think I need a rapid rapid. Oh my god, English, fire that.
Actually, it functions in the same way.
Oh, okay.
Then we have some larvest. Oh, that's just the rally point. Okay, so set rally point.
That's the not right click one.
Problems.
Isn't that the key one?
So for Terrans, there are some things that you can do with setting the rally point that are more useful if you use the key than if you left click. So for the Terran layouts, we actually have a rally point set up as B. So it's like a really far away key, but it's
okay.
It can be useful on rare occasions. So I'm going to want to keep that in mind.
All right, I just said it as B. That works.
Cool.
No conflicts.
No conflicts. And that's why we have the spreadsheet, so we can know what goes where and why. Cool. Sentry's probably got a hallucination issue.
Yeah, Void Ray.
Sentries are always having hallucination issues.
I have never made a hallucinated Void Ray in my life, if that counts.
Oh, they're the best. They win you games, man.
Well, if you're playing versus a certain Zerg, yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So same thing. Just go through the same process. We can scroll down in the spreadsheet here. Hallucinated Void Ray should be on H. And what happened here is the Adept default overwrote the Void Ray hallucination. So change the Void Ray hallucinate to H.
And then the Adept, what do I do then?
We'll have to find a place for it. Probably Y. Yeah.
That could work. I will never use it, so that's a good place to put it. One primary hotkey unbound.
Just sort of fits in there.
Nothing was unbound.
That's gonna be your smart command. Smart command rapid fire doesn't work anymore in Heart of the Swarm, and that used to be on Y for you. But since it doesn't work anymore, there's no use binding a key to it. So yeah, one alternate.
Was that like when people like hold it and right click? I think like
so you know like the 10 to 20 threads per month that show up that'll be like, oh my god, this person's hacking. Look at their APM.
Oh yeah,
it's always smart command. Like every single time, it's like, this is called rapid fire. This is a specific subdivision of rapid fire called smart command. It doesn't exist in Legacy though, but it got patched out.
Back in the day, we used to select all our workers and hold return cargo. It does the same thing. It's crazy. You just do that and get instant high APM. I should continue to do that, but no, I don't.
You should not. That's a great example of something that's a waste of your fucking time.
Yes. Well, not doing anything in the beginning. Well, I guess in Legacy I am now.
Cool. And then you're transformed to Gateway. You can leave it unbound.
Yeah.
Or you can you can toss it on something like J or a G rather, and you're not going to run into any problems. Wait, what was it before? It should have been something.
It was like M. It was the same as turn the warp gate, whatever that is. Whatever.
No way. It was the same. Oh, that's totally wrong. It should never be the same key.
Yeah.
We always banish the transform back to Gateway key to something really far away. That's totally a mistake.
I'll change it to S. I will never, if I ever click that, I should just leave the game. There we go.
Fair enough. For those of you who may or may not be wondering, why is it that why would he never press that key ever? And the answer to that is because he's on the other side of the keyboard. He's a right-handed user using the right-hand side of the keyboard with his left hand, if you can follow all that. Okay.
And then toggle minimap terrain is not something I'm particularly worried about. But we can set a key if you want. Yeah,
that's one of those global things. So to find the global stuff, just go to P overview. So P ability, that's all your in-game stuff. That's basically anything that's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is going to show up here, and each row is a command card. So if you go to P overview, that's going to get you all your other stuff. So right now, have you made any changes?
I have,
from the stock version concerning what control shift, and all that are used for? Absolutely not.
I have barely changed this thing.
Okay, cool. So your team color should still fit in the gap right over here with control 0.
That would explain some things of misclicks and color changes. I had no idea what it was. I just accidentally did it sometimes.
Or is that, let's just make sure. Yeah, that's a 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Control 0. I don't know. Toggle minimap terrain.
Yeah.
Not colors.
That's the thing where it makes everything black.
Oh, yeah. So my favorite thing to do with these types of things is to do Control Alt Shift and then one of the F keys, because you're never going to fucking press it. So you can feel free to do that, or you can leave it red, whatever it is you prefer.
This is going to be difficult. We did it. That took 2 hands, but we did it.
Yeah, that's how you really know it's a key that you're never going to press.
Should have done that warp gate too. Jesus. I mean, gateway.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Huh? So you can't do it on command cards, actually. So that's one of the unfortunate things that kind of prevents us from optimizing a little bit further than we like to, which is you can't change anything in a command card to be Control plus something or Alt plus something. You used to be able to do that, but you can't anymore. I think someone accidentally did something and it screwed everything up.
Oh.
And they were like, we don't want anyone to screw anything up ever again. So, lock on? I'm still seeing unbound for lock on.
Oh, I bound it. I put it as a 0 and 9.
0 and 9. Yeah, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll want to rapid fire that and sometimes you won't.
I need help with control groups and knowing what to do with them. and
All
suggestions.
right. Cool. So, you're playing Terran.
I'm playing Protoss. I just sometimes play Terran. That siege thing annoyed me.
Okay. So you're playing Protoss.
Yes.
Right. You're on PRM. So if you go to P overview, this is where your control group and camera section is. So what are you using right now? So we'll just take column T over here and start typing in the things that you need. So
Okay.
what do you use your control groups for?
So I use...
Which one is which doesn't matter. Just like I use a control group for Nexuses. Great.
I use control group for all my production. So that's Warp Gates, Robo, and Stargate. I use a control group for my Nexus and Forges, and sometimes a Twilight if I'm all inning. So I can keep track of that.
Yeah.
And then I use a control group for my active army. So my entire active army that I plan on pushing with. And then I have a control group for High Templar or Disruptor. You're going to see the problem with this. I have a control group for Harass. I have a control group for Phoenixes. I have a control group for Miss Mamakor in all her glory.
Yes.
And I have a control group for just Disruptor that I really dislike using because I don't really like where it is that much. Like for how often I have to keep clicking it, I don't like where it is.
Okay, and those are all the control groups that you use?
That I usually use, yeah. And I know there's like 2 more that I don't use, but I don't know. Like, I want to reorder things, I think.
Okay, cool. So we've got your 8 control groups that you're using here. That's great. Your production is really efficient. So in order, what are the most important things to you? Actually, wait, we are going to need the specifics here. All right, tell me what you're using specifically for each one now.
Okay, so production is I.
Okay.
Active army is K. Disruptor is... wait, which one is this one? Comma. I think.
Okay.
Yes. And then next/ups is P. HC/disruptor is semicolon. And then harass is 0.
Okay.
Phoenix is bracket.
Open bracket or close?
Open.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that's open. And then Mama Core is 8.
Okay. I can see why you don't like the Disruptor group. Comma is one of those, sort of unfortunate keys. So let's take a look. So our best control groups are P and I.
Yes, I love
and currently we're using those for production. And all unit production, all production of everything is on P and I. We can probably keep that there. That's a particular style, right? So there are a couple of different ways that we can look at this. First of all, you can put the most time sensitive stuff on the closest possible keys. And then second of all, you can put the, let's say the most frequently pressed stuff on the closest keys. Currently, you are at a sort of the most frequently pressed because you're going to be pressing your production and stuff like that a lot. That's a style that you want to keep.
Yes. Cool. I love that. Especially since like P for Nexus and O for, probe, and then I is really close to J and H, which are my Zealot and Adepts. So that's just really nice for me. It's just like, it feels good to do that.
One really quick thing though, whenever you're considering hotkeys in the future, it's really important to disconnect yourself from the idea that if one key is close to another key, then that means pressing them in sequence is fast. That's actually not the case. What makes a sequence of keys fast to press is that they're on as many different fingers as possible. You could have 2 keys that are really close together, but if you have to press them with the same finger, it's going to be incredibly slow. So focus as much as possible on the priority list that's over on the right side of the spreadsheet. And that's been calculated as which keys are fastest to press and which keys are slowest to press. And then second of all, when you're considering, I want an action sequence to be really fast, always say, all right, how can I use the maximum number of different fingers, or at least reduce the finger repetition, so I'm never using the same finger twice in a row. And that's really going to get you the best possible results.
All right. That sounds good.
Cool. All right. So now I want you to take these things over here and let's see what's left here. We have the Active Army Disruptor, HT Disruptor, Harass Phoenix, and Militia Core. Cool. So first of all, we have a redundancy here. We have High Templar / Disruptor. Let's just get rid of that. Bam. That's your High Templar group. Excellent. Okay. Now, looking at this a little more cleanly, I think number one is going to be your Active Army. That's your most pressed, most important out of everything. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's next? What's the next most important thing to you after Active Army?
Usually for me, I'm a very harass-based player, so I hit my harass button more often, sometimes than my Active Army button.
Cool.
And I have, what did I say? That's O, right? 0? The circle.
Don't worry about any of that right now. Okay. We're just going to prioritize these. And then once they're prioritized, we can put them in order from best key to worst key.
Okay.
And this is kind of always the process that you want to go through when you're making a major change. Do as much as you can to disconnect yourself from what was and just look at things as objectively as possible and say, okay, what's most important to me? What's the least important? Everything in between. Make a priority list and then match that up to the priority list of keys from fastest key to slowest key. And that's going to get you long-term your most comfortable layout. At first, of course, because you're making a major change, it's going to be really uncomfortable and it's going to take some time to adjust to. Once you do adjust to it, you're going to be really happy.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. So Active Army, then Harass. What's the next most important thing?
I would say probably Mothership Core. Because that recall.
Okay. Next.
And then I put all those three kind of evenly. They're all games. They're all like game sensitive. What composition I decided to do. If I see mutas and stuff like that. So that's kind of sensitive to what I'm doing. Generally, if I were to have all of these three, I'd probably hit Phoenix the most because they're the ones I have to actively be on the map with.
Yeah. And remember, don't just think about frequency, think about time sensitivity as well. So if you have something that you need to be able to access very quickly, that is an important factor to consider. So make sure you're always weighing both of those things, time sensitivity and frequency.
Then definitely Phoenix are above those two.
Cool. Next.
The other two are should not be in a position where I should have to save them like that, like the Phoenix. And then I would say High Templar. A lot of the times I will just select, I'll do a lot of Disruptor Micro with my mouse rather than with the control group. I mostly use the control group to get to them quickly. So I would say they're lower on the priority list. High Templar, I use the control group to cast their spells.
Okay, so now that we have that all set up, we can just sort of take a look, and we can actually take this Nexus's as P, good, and then I can actually get rid of all of this because that doesn't matter anymore. And now we have our priority list over here. Great. So if you notice, you were using comma, right? That's the control group you were using. That is, out of all 10 control groups, that is the slowest control group.
I've noticed.
And you're only using 8 control groups.
Yes.
So it's pretty silly to at any point in time use the 10th control group when you only ever use 8. So things are going to get a lot better for you. This is going to be good. All right.
I think the reason I used it is because in a game, when I made Disruptors and High Templar, I was like, wait, I've never considered this. And then I was like, let's randomly control shift and click buttons until it's a control group. And then I found comma and I was like, okay, we did it. And then I just stuck to that.
So that would be a really good example of a time that's really important to invest in loss.
Yeah.
So when something like that happens, play the game out, do what you can. It's going to be crazy, whatever, you know. And then after that game, stop playing games. take a look at the spreadsheets and figure out, okay, how do I want to do this? There's this new control group I want to use. I need to shuffle around the priority of things, and basically just do the process that we're doing right now. Reprioritize the different things you're going to be using, and then add these things in. So all we need to do now is just fill in the control group. So the first control group is P, second is I, already know that. Semicolon is going to be your active army.
Okay.
And then harass is going to be L. Harass is going to be K.
Yeah, K, yeah.
Right, and then control group 5 is dash. 6 is open bracket.
I didn't know that was the control group. See, I learned some things today.
And then 7 is apostrophe. Well, when you put an apostrophe in a spreadsheet, it actually doesn't show it because that's part of the code.
Oh, right.
And your new disruptor control group is 8.
8? Oh, okay. My old mama core one. That's an easy one to hit.
How nice is that?
Oh, I like that. What did we put as apostrophe again? HG. Okay, I like that. Okay.
Cool.
And that's easy to transition, actually. Okay, I like that.
Now,
oh, and Phoenix is still bracket. We have some familiarity left.
Now, this is the most optimal setup, super duper long term, but we can kind of mix some stuff around a little bit if you want, in order to reduce the amount of time it takes to learn. But that's totally up to you, right? This is your best long term setup. If it's not worth your time, basically, to be like, whatever I'm going to gain out of this light shuffling control groups isn't a big deal to me. I'm just want to keep everything the same as possible. We can do that too.
Nah, I could just straight do this. It doesn't take me that long to adjust. Like, it only took me like a week and a half to get my Smurf from bronze to diamond when I switched to the core. So I think I can transition to this a lot easier than that.
Cool. That's good. Well, I mean, the thing is too, like, once you've switched to the core, any kind of small changes,
yeah, they're difficult.
seem like nothing. You're like, oh yeah, a couple of changes. Yeah, no problem.
It's not like I change every single way I ever played this game at all, ever. Oh my God.
Cool. So I want you to copy, paste this little green section over here. So that way you have it with you. This is the core spreadsheet. So I'm going to delete it, but copy paste it. So that way you have it in your records in case you forget, oh man, what am I using this control group for? And then you can go and have it all checked out and be nice and clean and beautiful.
I'll make my own little spreadsheet. I have a Starcraft folder in my Google Drive, so create in shared folder. Is this shared? I don't know who it's shared with. Whoever it is, they're going to see my hotkeys now.
They're going to steal your secret hotkey tricks, man.
I know.
Watch out.
I'm going to call it super secret with a K hotkey tricks. There we go. Copy, paste. Easy. All right. There's one thing I do want to maybe add as a control group, which is, I don't know if this is important anymore. This is important in Heart of the Swarm, but like have 9 stalkers on a separate hotkey for shift queuing Vikings, which I don't really need anymore, but I do kind of want to put my stalkers on a separate hotkey as well. I haven't done this yet. I've just known it was a good idea. I like to do it. It's a little bit of a style points kind of thing. Some people like to do it, some people don't. Well, the other thing you can do is you can have a certain number of stalkers on a control group. I know before it would be 9, because I guess I can still do that for medevac sniping, but it was mostly for Vikings and TVP to only have the amount of stalkers you need to focus them down, instead of grabbing, like, say if you win Blink Colossus, every single stalker to overkill Vikings.
Right.
But I've never done it. And I use Blink a lot, so I really should have, but I don't think there's a single game where I don't open Blink. So
cool. So let's add you in a stalker control group. There's 2 ways that we can do this. One, we have the stalkers not in the main army and they have their own special beautiful control group. Or 2, they're in both control groups. They'll be in their own special control group, but they'll also be in the army.
I'll probably do them in both.
Cool. So what that means is every time you make stalkers now, you're going to add them into both. You're going to control click, add them into both control groups. So one of those is going to be semicolon, and the other one ought to be something that is not on the same finger as semicolon, right? So we're avoiding that finger repetition. Actually, just the next available control group, which is control group 9, is U.
That's what I was probably thinking it was going to be too, for some reason. I've never actually used that on there. Group. Okay, I'll use that.
It's good to have a plan. I mean, just like going into a game of Starcraft, it's good to have a plan of what you're going to do. And the same thing mechanically, it's good to have a plan of what you're going to use your hotkeys for and how you're going to use your hotkeys.
Since I have a 10th one, should I just think of something that I could put on there anyways that I may some point need?
Well, I think it's a little bit better to just sort of play Starcraft and always be aware of different situations and consider, would having a control group for this be worth it? And the thing that I always pose to players to do, whether or not they should use a camera for something or a control group for something, is just go ahead and look at a replay and see how many times using a control group would have saved you actions. And then weigh that against how many times you'd have to set up the hotkey. And as long as those things are equal or the number of actions you save is larger, then you should absolutely be using a control group for that.
Okay. I have a options question actually that I just thought of. I remember people talking about this in the chat the other day. It was, I think, show alerts people were talking about. Do you think I've never had them on? And it's not because I accidentally clicked them or anything. It's because I've never actively used them. So I found them like as useless clutter on the screen that I never analyzed myself ever. Because I don't think they were in Brood War. So I don't think I've ever thought to interact with them. I guess is a way like how I hide my control groups from view is just because I'm used to it. I just don't like it there. Do you think that's like a thing?
The two things that I've found that show alerts can do that nothing else can do don't exist in Legacy of the Void anymore. Show alerts will tell you when your chrono boost finishes. And it will also provide you a way to select all of your queens at once if you're going for a queen heavy play that is sort of you want them to be in your army kind of a thing. You can control click the alert and it'll select all the queens that just popped. Which is the fastest way to gather new queens when you're using them in your army. I guess that second one is still kind of useful if you're going to have queens in your army and you're making a bunch of them late game. But the chrono boost thing, it's not,
they don't
doesn't matter anymore, right? And you're a Protoss player. So I think for you, show alerts probably being off is a little bit better.
All right. Yeah, I wouldn't even need it for Chrono Boost and Heart of the Swarm because I had my macro cycle warp in Chrono Boost because that was around the same amount of time. But I think that could be useful.
You have enable additional team color textures and team color intensity on 11, yes?
Yes.
So with reduced mouse lag, which I think is in that is in
controls.
Gameplay. It's in controls. All right.
Yeah.
So basically, what reduced mouse lag is going to do is it's going to be something that's useful if you're using VSync. And you really the only advantage to using VSync is if you're experiencing screen tearing. So do you know what screen tearing is?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, in order to offset the fact that you're using VSync, you reduce mouse lag.
So I should turn that off. Perfect.
Yeah. Otherwise, keep that off.
It just sounds like a good thing. Reduce mouse lag. Huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Windows, right, the setting for mouse acceleration is called Enhance Pointer Precision, but it does the opposite of that because it makes it more difficult for you to be precise with your mouse because you not only have to factor in where you're moving your mouse, but how fast you're moving it as well. So it is quite annoying. Yeah, the one thing about graphics, I have mine set to low just because I'm lazy and I don't care. But because I always have to change it, right? So if I'm recording a video, I have to put it on the highest possible setting because people like that. But then if I'm playing, I have to set it to low. And just going back and forth is really annoying. Or like if I'm playing, I set it to low with some special stuff going on. but I don't feel like changing it every single time I record a video. So I just go low, extreme, low, extreme, low, extreme. But the main thing that changes is shader quality. If you put your shaders on medium, it will make cloaked units easier to see.
I have that on medium. I think I have shadows on medium too.
Shadows actually automatically change to medium once shaders are on medium.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's true. I have effects on medium too. I don't know why, but they are.
Effects on medium will make sure you can always see the special animation of a Nexus building a mothership core. That's the only reason why effects need to be on medium. It's really frustrating because all kinds of extra annoying effects that just sort of, clutter up the screen get involved, but I only want this one effect. And lastly, models on high will get you unique warp-in models, so that way you can tell which units are warping in where, which is best when you're going against a Protoss opponent.
Changing this, my models is blank. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, if your models are blank, it's either a glitch or you have been fucking about in your .txt file.
I have the thingy hybrid.
That is probably why.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's in a good place because I think I always know what units are warping in for my opponent, or I have really good intuition with that. One or the other.
If you get super good, you can actually judge which unit is which based on the height of the health bar from the bottom of the warp-in.
I don't have that much time, man.
That's actually also true with all buildings as well.
Oh yeah.
It's especially noticeable with the Dark Shrine versus a Pylon because the Dark Shrine's super tall, so the health bar will be really high. But you can actually tell the difference between a cannon and a Pylon. You can tell the difference between a Forge and a Gateway and a Robo, all based on the height of the health bars.
That explains why I notice these things, but I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'll see something.
You play like thousands of games, right? It just sort of becomes like, oh yeah, I think it's a robo, and you click it as a robo, and you're like, wait, how did I know it was a robo? It's because you've seen a billion robos being built before.
Well, sometimes like my Phoenix goes over it, right? It's like flying over it, and I don't get the click yet. Then I'm like, I know it's a gateway. Like, why do I know it? It's a gateway. I know. Wait, there's a thing where your DPI gets so low that it's bad, right? Like something weird happens. At least someone told me that. I don't remember what the something weird was.
What's your DPI at?
600.
That's fine.
Okay, good.
That's great. The main thing you want to worry about is high DPI. If you have low DPI, you're pretty much okay. 400 to 800 is kind of like that magic range of like beautifulness. What happens?
450. Jesus, it's a rock.
What happens is at the really high DPI, you might think that you're moving faster, but you're not. What's happening is you just transfer from using larger muscle groups to move the mouse to smaller muscle groups, and you have to put more tension on those small muscle groups to move the mouse, which is where a lot of people get RSI and mess up their hands. And it's also the reason why I play with a lefty mouse and not a righty mouse. I had a righty mouse. Everything was great. I cranked up the sensitivity to 4,000, and I screwed up my hand, so now I can't mouse with it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was like 4 years ago, and I tried mousing with my right hand the other day, and it still sucks.
4,000. I couldn't even my friend had something like that, like 2,000, and I struggled so hard trying to click things on his computer.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like trying to move it as slowly as possible, and I couldn't.
The thing what's happening right in your hand when you have a high sensitivity mouse and you're trying to move it super slowly, all the tiny little fragile, really, really, easy to injure muscles are stressing to their maximum capacity to move as little as possible. And basically you get used to that, but that stress is always there and it's always happening. And it can be quite bad if you do it for a prolonged period of time. Thank you very much. Glad I was able to help you out. See you later, everyone on the YouTubes. I hope this has been somewhat enlightening. I hope you've been able to take away a couple of things here and there. This is a basic idea of what a session is like, what a session for Hotkeys is like. We did go into settings as well. And sometimes we do mechanics as well. Usually they'll be sort of segregated. We'll do an hour of hotkeys or an hour of, we can't really do an hour of settings, right? But you know, it's an hour is an hour, and we get things done and make them happen in that amount of time. So my name is JaKaTaK, and as always, thanks for watching. If you have an idea for a video you would like me to do, please leave with any questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, or anything beginning with letter C in the comment section below, and I'll see you again soon. Yeah, well, some people are like that. I mean, some fridges are like that too, you know? Mm-hmm. Fridges are people too. That's the important part to remember.
I think that's... I think you should put out of context that at just the end of the video.